we? Good heavens. That was a good intro, that. Welcome to Stace and Barry in the morning, the fucking return. Sorry, I got very sweary. I'm passionate about this. I'm the Stace half of Stace and Barry, and that man tittering in the background at my terrible intro is the Barry half. Morning, Barry.
Morning, Stace. I'm just thinking that right, that's the explicit tag. They must remember to tick that box.
Do you not always have that on the Geek Syndicate episodes?
No, shockingly, not every.
Really?
Yep, not every. For a start, not every show
Don't
on the.
believe you.
It's true. Not every show on the GS network is sweary, and in fact, there's some episodes of Geek Syndicate that aren't sweary.
Definitely, I was gonna say definitely not ones I'm on.
No, no. To be fair. So yeah, for people who were listening to us on Stacey's channel, we're now on the GS channel.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. So we're calling this series 2, episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. We pulled that out of our asses quite like this morning.
Literally last minute.
Yeah, because you know we didn't want you to feel like maybe if we leapt in at episode 23 that you'd missed a bunch of stuff, but you have, and you should go back and listen to it if you've not heard Stace and Barry before over at popcultureparlour.podbean.com. Shameless plug, but yeah. Oh, it's so nice to be back, B.
It's nice to have you back, Stace, and it's nice to be back.
I fell off I sort of fell off the podcasting wagon a little bit. Well, I realised the other day that actually this week is the anniversary of the live show that kind of killed my podcasting self-esteem for like a year. Which, you know, Barry will be very aware of because I had a slight mental breakdown in front of him during that 24 hours. But yeah.
Given the fact I was a part of that, I feel somewhat responsible now for your podcasting breakdown.
Well, no, to be fair, if you hadn't have been there, it would have been like 1,000% worse. Because you did all the hosting when I fell apart. So yeah, it's been a while since I've podcasted like properly, and I've got to say, feeling good, mostly because I don't have to edit this, so that's like a chunk of responsibility.
just shifted my way.
I know, but you love me enough to do it.
That's true. And to be honest, these days I edit at twice the speed, so literally we sound like chipmunks, so it's fine.
Oh, that's adorable. I already sound like a bit of a chipmunk, to be fair. So.
I know, now you sound like a chipmunk on speed when I record.
Alvin, Simon, Theodore, do. Hey, on that note.
I'm interested to see when I come to record this episode and I put it on twice the speed, whether or not that last 5 seconds will just sound exactly the same.
Or it will just sound like, oh, dear me.
Right.
Should we fucking get started on
Let's
this
get started.
Boss bitch of a podcast?
Yeah.
Let's shall we start with some musical musings?
Ooh.
I think we should.
Yeah, I like your thinking. Let's start with musical musings. Nice.
Thanks. That was an excerpt from the Glory Days from The Incredibles. Yeah, it was as well. Well done, you. Sorry, that sounded patronising. I didn't mean for it to. I was just like genuinely surprised that my terrible trumpet tooting came out quite well. All right, yeah, okay. You're probably more into soundtracks than I am, actually, so maybe I should just shut my mouth.
And crack on.
Yeah, do you want to go first?
Okay, yeah. Cool. So my musical musing, weirdly, this is taken from a film, and had we recorded a couple of weeks ago, this probably would have also been my pick of the fortnight, but this was kind of just outside of that.
Ooh.
The film is Into the Spiderverse.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, I only recently, I just got overhyped out of existence by that film. So I made a decision. I didn't discuss the decision with anyone online. I just made a decision that I wasn't going to watch it at the cinema or anything like that. I was just going to quietly watch it when it came out on DVD, which I did, about 3 weeks ago. and I absolutely loved it. People want to see what I thought, tune in to a previous episode of Geek Syndicate Clang. I can't say enough good things about that film. It's the best Spider-Man film. Yes, it's animated. It's the best Spider-Man film.
Oh no, it really is. It's totally rad. I loved it.
It's awesome. And for me, I'm trying to say this because I still know there's people out there that haven't seen the film, so I don't want to spoil it for those people. But for me, there was one scene that I watched that scene, and by the end, I was in tears. And it's those sort of tears you get when you're so invested in the film. You get overwhelmed by it, and I think the writer side of me gets overwhelmed from I wish I could write that good, and the music that goes with it is the choice for my musical musing. Now, when you listen to this piece of music, you can get it on, be it Spotify or wherever. Sadly, it's not exactly the same as it is in the film, because in the film they use some of the actual movie soundtrack is kind of mixed in with the actual song. So I kind of prefer it on the film. However, the actual track itself is still pretty great. So when I tell you the title of the track, you'll know the scene. So the title of the track is called What's Up Danger.
Yep, okay.
And I just thought the blending of, rap and a kind of orchestral soundtrack, it just was so good. And it suited the tone, it suited the character. Apparently it's by Black Caviar. But yeah, it's brilliant. So that's What's Up Danger from Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. Over to you, Stace.
Excellent. Well, I changed my mind about my musical musing like moments before we started recording, because I suddenly remembered that a couple of months ago I went to see The World of Hans Zimmer in concert, and yeah, first of all, fucking all of the tips of the hats to the Bolshoi Orchestra of Belarus, because they are legit the best orchestra I've ever seen live. Like, they fucking knocked my socks off. And the track I'm going to pick, I mean, it could technically be a bit of a Moments of Geekdom for me as well, in that it's from a movie. And this particular piece of music is the reason I fell in love with soundtracks. So I'm going to warn of spoilers, even though the film is from like the 90s, just because there is a remake of it coming out soon. And so if you haven't seen the original, but you're planning to see The Lion King, then spoilers for The Lion King are upcoming. Like big fucking hefty spoilers for The Lion King are upcoming. But the piece of music that I chose is called To Die For. So back when I was a wee one, I remember watching this film, and this was the first Disney film I cried at, because I think the sequence I'm about to talk about is one of the saddest things in cinema history.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the piece of music follows the stampede and Mufasa's subsequent death. And like, I remember thinking when I was a kid, like, I remember asking my mom, like, where can I get that music from after I'd seen that film? And I must have only been about like 9 or 10 when it came out. Like, I couldn't have been like very old. And I remember asking, I was like, where can we get this music from, because this is insane how good this is. And that sort of started my love affair with soundtracks. And I remember I used to go to the local library and get soundtracks on CD, and then make mixtapes of all my favourite tracks from them when I was at home, because I was so cool.
Can I just say, I used to do that as a kid.
Yeah, it's fucking rad. And like, I've got a distinct memory of trying to put this track as the opening track on side A of a tape that I was making, and then realising that I couldn't follow it with literally anything else, so I had to record over it and stick it at the end of side B. Because basically this piece of music goes from a sort of panicky, intense chase sequence, which is the stampede, to a like transitions into this like it's like a powerful expression of grief, is like the only way I can really phrase it, with just like a hint of like fear and malice in there, because they've obviously there's that scene with Scar when he tells Simba to like run off because you've killed your dad, even though technically, you know, he didn't. And it's I don't think I've ever heard a piece of music in a film that has fit so perfectly with that scene, to the point at which, I mean, I haven't seen The Lion King like loads and loads of times, but I can, if I hear this piece of music, I can play that entire scene in my head like almost beat by beat, because the music marries with it so perfectly. And like that transition between it being this sort of like energetic, like, you know, there's like the start of it, it's full of movement, it's full of dread, and then it sort of transitions into this like melancholic, like just the grimmest thing you've ever heard. And then, I've got to say, I am quite intrigued about whether or not they'll keep the soundtrack for the I'm hesitant to call it a live action version, because it is, all the animals are CGI, but from the trailer it does look pretty, like CGI wise, it looks pretty great. I'd be interested to see whether they keep the soundtrack or whether they try and do something different, because I can't imagine even Hans Zimmer himself being able to top this. like it's like, to me it's perfect, and every time I hear it I'm just like, everybody shut up, I'm getting lost in this piece of music, I'll see you in 3 or 4 minutes. It's just perfect. And I was interested to see that they did keep the Hans Zimmer soundtrack in the trailer, but I don't know whether that was just to, like, I don't know, entice people.
Well, I imagine it kind of is to give people the familiarity, and yet at the same time it's still different, because you watch you see the, not live action, but you know what I mean.
Because I've got to be honest, that's the only real reason that I even want to see The Lion King, because the trailer itself, like, it didn't offend me, but it also didn't really intrigue me either. Yeah,
no, according to this, it was announced that Hans Zimmer would return to score the film.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be interesting to see whether or not he returns to score the film. Is literally, here's a tape of the last one.
We've just re-recorded it a bit remastered.
But it's like an afternoon's work.
Yeah, that would actually be hilarious. It's just like, right, give me £1 million, or however much. I don't know how much composers charge, but like, that'd be hilarious. But the orchestra and the choir that played like a whole Lion King suite, but To Die For was the only song they played in its complete entirety, and I was literally bawling in the audience, because it's the first time I've heard it live, and I could not cope.
Can I just ask, during that, did a woman come on stage to sing?
They had a choir. I think they did have a woman come out to sing.
Like a solo performer.
Yeah, because earlier in the thingy, they had Lisa Gerrard come out and do some songs from Gladiator, which was just fucking amazing. I can't remember the name of the there was a lady who came out to sing, Yeah, in
full sort of African.
Yes, like full on. Yeah, it was it was literally like one of the greatest things I've ever seen performance-wise. I couldn't.
I was going to say, the reason why because I've been to see that same concert when he came to London, soon after we see it, and it was pretty damn amazing.
Oh my god, it's intense. Yeah. All of the tips of the hat to Hans Zimmer. He is the king of composers.
As sort of going forward, if you get a chance to go and see any more, was that your first time seeing a composer, like a film composer / concert?
Well, I'd seen him when I think it was a couple of years ago, when he literally came round and did the whole like Hans Zimmer doodad. But this one was one where he wasn't there. There was a different different conductor, but there were like video accompaniments of like him chatting with other people who helped him produce the albums or write the tracks, or there was a bit with him having a chat with Lisa Gerrard and stuff. But yeah, this was the best orchestra I've seen, and I've seen quite a few orchestras, and it blew me away. Absolutely blew me away.
I mean, when I saw him, it was him on stage, and he was kind of talking in between kind of what inspired him to do certain things and stuff like that. And I think as someone like yourself who's massively into sort of soundtracks, if you're out there and you like movie soundtracks, and get an opportunity to go and see one of these composers live. I don't really do concerts because they tend to be too busy, and I'm just not really into concerts. But I've seen him. I've seen James Newton Howard. I saw an orchestra doing like a tribute to John Williams, and they're all up there as some of the most amazing experiences of my life. Really, just hearing that stuff, hearing the Razor's Lost Ark theme live with a full orchestra. Jeez.
Yeah.
Just tears streaming. Cool. That's an awesome musical musings.
Yeah, that's why I changed it, you see, because I was going to talk about something else, but then I was like, no, do you know what? Fucking, you literally wept at this, so you should talk about it. Yeah, it was a good one. Job was a good one.
Cool. Right then. How about we do Saturday morning cartoons? Have we got time for both? We have, haven't we? Saturday morning.
Yeah,
cartoons.
I reckon. I'll be quick about my other things. So, Saturday morning. Are we doing cartoons or comics?
Oh, sorry, Saturday morning comics.
Well, we have done cartoons in the past. Do you know what? I'm really struggling because I was thinking I'm going to stick on my theme of like movie themes for my trumpeting, and now I've totally blanked. What's a recognisable movie theme? Nope, I'm just going to go comics.
Yes.
There you go. I bet you've missed this, haven't you?
I have missed it. You have no idea how much. For a start, it means I don't have to find any of my own segue music to put in. So that makes my life just that much easier, which I'm all about. So my Saturday morning comics is more like my 6-month, 7-month Saturday morning comics. So a while ago, but you talked about and you regaled me. That's a good word. I like that. Use it again. Regaled me with stories of the legend that is the BPRD comics.
Oh yeah.
From Dark Horse. And for people who don't know, the BPRD, they kind of spun out of Hellboy, and the BPRD stands for the Bureau of Paranormal. The Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense, and effectively they just fight the things that go bump in the night, to quote Hellboy. And boy, do they fight a lot.
A lot of things go bump, don't they?
A lot of things go bump. A lot of things. And it's always been this, every time I've looked at it, it's just been this mountain of comics that I just couldn't, both financially and just narratively, I just thought I can't get into this universe. And I've tried to, I'd read all the Hellboys a while ago, but I couldn't get into this universe for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't even know where to start with it, because it seemed the numbering for me was all over the place. And two, again, like I said, financially. So what happened was Dark Horse did a sale, I think around Christmas time, and it was like 50% off everything. And at the same time, it coincided with Dave picking up the first sort of BPRD trades in this sale.
Right.
And then Dave texted me and said, have you read any BPRD? I said, yeah, I've read some on and off. He said, right, you need to go back to the beginning and you need to pick up those bad boys, because this shit is hot. Right. Now, when Dave spends money on something and then goes to the trouble of texting me, and it was something like on Christmas Eve he texted me, or Christmas Day, dude's got kids. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm not busy, but he's got 3 kids, and he texted me to say, I've just read I think he'd read like the first 3 trades within about like a day or something. So I'm like, I've got to get on this. So it then turned into this kind of battle of wills between Dave and I, where I was reading volumes, texting him to say, because I basically whizzed through the first 5 volumes within, I don't know, 2 days, if that. Texted him back to say, I've now read 5 volumes. He goes, yeah, well, I'm on volume 8 now. And it just went back and forth, back and forth. I'm now ahead of him now, because I'm now nearly up to date. So I've read, you've got The Plague of Frogs. Hang on, I'm going back to find the list now. So you've got Hollow Earth, Soul of Venice, Dark Waters, Night Train, There's Something Under My Bed, Another Day at the Office, Plague of Frogs, The Black Frame, The Universal Machine, Garden of Souls, Killing Ground, War on the Frogs, War on the Frogs 2, Black Goddess, King of Fear, Hell on Earth. So Hell on Earth was like the big one. I've read all of the Hell on Earths. And that was where I stopped, I think. I'm just going to make sure. Yeah. So my next sort of thing to pick up is their next sort of volume, which is called, or their next sort of series, which is called The Devil You Know.
Yeah. So that's the one I've just started reading.
Yeah. So that's what. So I'm up to date with you.
Okay, good. It's boss, isn't it?
I cannot. It is like, for me, I had one comic since I started GS and before. I had one comic which, like, when anyone asked me what was my favorite comic series, I would always go to this without even thinking, which makes it really easy. I'd always go Planetary, because Planetary was the reason why Dave and I started Geek Syndicate. It was the reason why I got back into comics. So for me, it was, and it's just a great series. For me, this has now slipped into the number 2 position.
Nice.
For BPRD. Planetary is always going to have a special place, don't get me wrong. That's untouchable. But in terms of just sheer quality, balls to the wall action, characterization, twists, turns, an epicness which, forget your end game, geez, the level of epicness of this is beyond. When you get on to like the Hell on Earth stuff, it ain't just in the title. It's all in the title. Hell on Earth.
Louise, it is a slog, but a good slog, but like a terrifying slog.
Yeah. Things get broken in this universe, and you know what? They stay fucking broken.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah.
Yeah, I've been banging on about BPRD for like years. Like, most people will know. You know, when people say, "Are you a DC or a Marvel person?" And my answer is always, "I'm a BPRD lass."
Yeah.
Because that is my go-to comic book universe. Because I love Hellboy, I love Abe Sapien, I love BPRD, I love Lobster Johnson, I love Witchfinder. Like, Lobster Johnson is so far up your alley. Like, I don't know.
I've read. Well, the thing is, there's. So my thing is, and you're right, it's a universe of which BPRD is a part of. It is a universe, and this is what I've realised now. Is like, I don't have to. Well, I don't really spend a lot of time in DC and Marvel these days. I kind of dip in and out, but I could literally not buy any other comics and just sit in this universe.
Yeah.
Till like I'm a fat, sweating old man trapped in his own house, surrounded by BPRD comics. And that's how I die.
It's a good way to go.
It's a good way to go. But Lobster Johnson, I'd already read all the Lobster Johnsons, right? But the way they use him in this universe as well is brilliant. And I haven't read any of the Witchfinder stuff yet. And there's a couple of other guys floating around. If you think you know Abe Sapien from the Hellboy films, you want to forget that Abe Sapien. Because
don't even don't even because that
Abe Sapien you could have a bit of a joke with, maybe give him a little push, go, oh, what the fuck are you gonna do? The Abe Sapien in the comics,
he ain't playing.
If you look at that guy wrong, he will F you up.
Abe Sapien is one of my favourite comic characters like ever. I think he and Hellboy together are just like the perfect pair. I love them so much. And I've got to say, I'm a little bit nervous about seeing this new Hellboy movie, just because I love that universe so much that I'm like, ugh. Anytime anybody's like dipping a toe in it, I'm like, ugh.
Well, I watched the trailer for the. It's weird, isn't it? Because I watched the trailer for the new Hellboy, and if I hadn't read all the BPRD, I probably would have less investment in it.
Right.
But because I'd just come off the back of reading Hell on Earth and being knee deep in, is it Ben Damo?
Yes.
Yeah. Who again, badass. Liz Sherman, badass. God. Kate, badass. If you want to see like great female characters where like they're not female, they're just characters,
Yeah.
You need to read BPRD. But
Yeah,
that's like,
they're not cookie cutter
no,
strong characters. They're
no,
like, yeah, they are strong, but also a lot of other things, unsurprisingly, as
yeah,
women usually are.
yeah, they're real, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's one character in particular where I feel if I was going to be in the Hellboy universe and if they wanted to say that was me, I'll quite happily take that role. Who is I can't remember what his name is, but he's kind of like, he starts off as a bit of a research, just like a kind of researcher. He's not really a field guy. He's a black guy, wears glasses, looks a little bit like me.
Yeah, I know exactly who you mean, and I can't think of his name either. That's
Yeah.
shit.
His name from now on is Barry Nugent. When you read it, it's me. That's it. Yeah. So when I watched the Hellboy trailer, one of them, and I literally just went, that's not Ben,
Yeah,
and that's not
yeah.
the BPRD, and that's not Professor Bruttenholm. I could never say his name right, but you know,
Do you know it's pronounced broom?
it is, isn't it?
I
Yeah,
think so, yeah.
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 I thought,
What a load of unnecessary letters.
yeah, Ian McShane, no, wrong casting from my.
Well,
John Hurt, I thought was brilliant casting.
yeah, I think the problem for me was there's a lot of imagery in the trailer that really struck a chord with me. Like there's a like this isn't a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but there's a sequence where you see Hellboy like climbing some steps or something, and he's got that flaming crown and that whacking great sword, and I was like, shit, the bed, they went there. But then like 2 seconds later it felt like they were trying to do like Guardians of the Galaxy if the Guardians were the BPRD characters, and I was like, no, that's not what I was after. So I don't know, I still haven't seen it yet because I'm very nervous about it.
No. Also, as well, if they were going to do a BPRD adaptation outside of the comics, part of me
It
wants
should
to
be a
say,
TV show.
yeah, it has to be a TV show, and I would go as far, given the scale of what happens, that it should be an animated show with a serious voice cast. Get the dudes who do the Justice League cartoons or whatever. Get whoever you need to get. I'll throw money at you. I haven't got a lot, but I'll do a Kickstarter.
Here's 50p, make a whole cartoon.
No, fuck that. Here's a tenner. Do what you can.
I could not sing the praises of the BPRD sort of comics enough, really. And what I love as well is what all the different artists bring to it, because like obviously Mike Mignola has a very clear style, and I love his style. But then there are things like I don't know if you read the one-off Christmas issue. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, Krampusnacht. Which,
no, I haven't read that actually.
Okay, it's just like a one-off Hellboy Christmas special. But it was drawn by Adam Hughes. Now, if you'd have said to me beforehand, Adam Hughes on a Hellboy comic, I'd have been like, "What, you smoking?"
Hey?
Yeah, like, what are you smoking, you crazy person? But actually, it looks gorgeous. Like, it's really nice because he's clearly like. It's clearly Adam Hughes, but also he's very much taking the influence of the Hellboy universe into it, and that's what a lot of artists do with it. They take Mignola, but they make it their own. And I really love it. I love the whole thing. I could go on all day, so I'll just shut up.
Yeah, likewise. And I have gone on all day, so I'll just shut up.
I was going to say we've talked a bit too long, but I am going to do a really, really short pick of the fortnight. Shazam! Fucking Shazam. So the reason this is going to be short is because I watched it a couple of weeks ago on a preview screening, so I don't have any to hand quotes or particular bits in my head, but I came out of the cinema from seeing that movie with the same stupid grin on my face that I left the movie Deadpool with. Now you know how much I love me a Deadpool.
Wow.
And yeah, exactly, I would put Shazam up there for me with Deadpool and Wonder Woman as top 3 tier comic awesomeness, because one of the things that's sort of been not riling me up, because I still like the other movies, but one of the things that's I found a bit of a slog is that even though the Marvel movies and stuff have had little bits of comedy here and there, they are kind of hard going. Especially leading up to Endgame, it's been very much sort of like, it's been quite grim. There's been a lot of sad and such, and it was really nice to see a superhero movie. It kind of reminded me of Spider-Man Homecoming in that sense as well, actually, where the person is actually like really enjoying having superpowers rather than just being like, oh god, what a huge responsibility, I better go and save some people, I guess. Harumph. Like, it's like legit, like, I can fucking shoot lightning, look at this. Like, he's so happy. I was crying, and the film is like legit funny,
Right.
like, but also kind of scary in parts. Like, I've got to admit, if I was a little wee kiddie person and I'd have seen it, I might have done a little scare poo in my pants.
Right.
But have you seen it? Sorry, I'm just rambling.
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, well, yeah, it's so much fun. Like, the CGI in some places is a little bit ropey, but overall, it's just like, oh god, it's just such a fun film. And I came out of it like positively beaming, like, and the end credits as well, like there are like end credit sequences and stuff, but the actual credits themselves are amazing. There's like this little animated nonsense, and it's so funny. Like, it's so funny. So yeah, and also my crush on Zachary Levi that I had when he was playing Chuck has been fully reinstated. What a handsome man. And that's the end of my pick of the fortnight.
Well, I do plan to see it at some stage. It's probably now going to end up being a DVD watch, I reckon. But I don't mind doing that these days. I quite like waiting and actually seeing the film once the hype died down, and actually being lucky that everyone else has seen it, and I can kind of sit back and go, no, I'm seeing it. And I was like, oh, damn it. Aquaman, I'm coming for you. But what I want to say, I want to do really quick pick of the fortnight, which is right, I'm at 34 minutes. I'm going to do this in a minute, I reckon.
Oh, well done.
So this pick of the fortnight, it's a sequel. It's a sequel, not to a sequel.
You're not doing this in a minute.
I'm not. Scratch that. My pick of the fortnight is Creed 2.
Oh, okay.
I love the first Creed. I watched Creed 2, and after I watched that, I wanted to go out and lift tires and drag cars behind me and go to the desert. Yeah, and run upstairs, go to the desert. It's awesome. If it's one of them things. If you love the Creed film, you'll love this. If you didn't love the Creed film, you won't love this. It's as simple as that. In my mind, though, because Rocky is brilliant in it, Sylvester Stallone's brilliant in it. In my mind now, I've got my life pegged out in terms of podcasting. So I'm turning 50 next month. I'm owning that. I'm wearing that. But I need to maybe get to about 60, 65, 70. And then I'll quit, disappear from podcasting life. I've had a fair amount of success doing GS, I'd like to say. At some stage, someone's going to come and find me, some young podcasting rapscallion is going to come and find me, and I'll be working in Mackie D's or something like that, like a bum or something. Not that I'm saying working in Mackie D's makes you a bum, just saying it out loud, but some kind of job that I wouldn't necessarily be doing. And he's kind of like, and I see this guy's got potential, and I have to come out of retirement to kind of like train him up, and I have to take him to like some sort of desert and train him in podcasting skills. And he's there with a mic, and I knock the mic out of his hand and give him like a read up newspaper. Like, you're not ready for the mic yet. You start with a newspaper and you earn it. It's going to be
like a Batman Beyond situation.
Yeah, it's going to be called Nuge. Look out for it coming out in 2040. Nuge. Followed by Nuge 2.
The Nugening.
I now want someone to throw money at me so I could take acting classes. Or they could just get Carl Weathers to play me. That would be fine.
I mean, how old is he now?
Old enough to play me as Nuge. The Nuge.
Okay.
People will pay. Yeah. On that note, let's just get out of here. Yeah.
What a return to form.
Yes, indeed.
I think you could hear the question mark at the end of that. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can do us a tweet at Geek Syndicate or at Stacey's Parlour, Stacey with an E, Parlour with a U for our American listeners there. Or you can drop us an email at staceandbarry@gmail.com, because that email still exists.
Hey!
Have one person email it. So, you know, another one would make me feel slightly less like it's a useless endeavour.
Just so long as the other person isn't me or Dave.
It's Dave in disguise with a dastardly tash. No,
Dave
my name
Ross.
is not Dave Monty. Dave Ross. Oh God, let's just go.
Yeah. So
have a bloody lovely day, everyone. Oh, sorry, Nugent was going to say something there.
I was going to say something. I was going to say, so we'll be back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yes.
2 weeks. That's a film reference.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
It is. It's Total Recall.
Oh, okay.
Best films ever. Anyway, yeah. I love you, everyone. Bye.
I love some of you, but not you. You know who you are. Laters. Right.
Electric Nujaloo. Is that good?
No, not as good as I think
Not
you
as good as
peaked.
the Nugent.
No, you peaked with the Nugent in. There's
Yeah.
just
You
it's
can
just
cut this
quality.
one out then. Cut this out because it's shit. Only keep in the bits where I'm very, very funny.
Yeah, easily done.